Hi everybody, it's Mr. Bennett here. Now, it's a terrible day outside, so I thought I'd make some videos for you in terms of matrices operations. So the first one we're going to do today is looking at matrices themselves. So the first thing that you need to know about matrices is they have rows and columns, and they're really just for organising lots of information in different ways. So if I put some numbers in here, 2, 5, 1, 3, 0, -8. All right. So what we do when we're actually labeling a matrix, we have these things called rows going across this way. So these are my rows. And then we have our columns coming up this way. Oh, coloured. All right. Rainbow. Beautiful. Columns. We'll go back to a proper pen, I think. Right, so when we're labeling a matrix, it's always the rows by the columns. And that's how we define a matrix. So this matrix here has got 2 rows and it's got 3 columns. And we use a square bracket basically, which means it's a matrix. All right, so that's the first thing. Now the first operation we're going to be looking at today is when we're going to be looking at adding matrices. Right, so if we're going to add matrices together, the first thing is these matrices must be exactly the same order, or they have to be similar matrices. So we've got 2, 1, 0, 5, and I'm going to add this to matrix C. Right, so if it wasn't a 2 by 2 matrix, because this is a 2 by 2 matrix, 2 rows and 2 columns. If this is not a 2 by 2 matrix, I can't add it. So let's go 3, 4, -2, and 7. All right, so when I add those two matrices together, what I'm doing is I'm looking at that term there with that term there. All right, I'm looking at this term here with this term here. I'm looking at this term here with that term there. And then I'm looking at this term here with this term here, and it's simply just doing adding numbers together. So we go, what's 2 plus 3? Well, that's 5. What's 1 plus 4? Well, that's 5. What's 0 plus -2? Well, that's -2. And what's 5 plus 7? Well, that's 12. And it's as simple as that. All right, so we won't spend too much time on that. I think you probably already get that. The next thing we're going to be looking at is multiplying by a scalar. By a scalar, and what that means is if I'm multiplying by a scalar, I'm just timesing the whole matrix by a number. Let's go back to our original matrix, 2, 1, 0, 5, and we might call this matrix here A. I actually want to work out what 3A is. All right, so 3A means I have to times everything in the matrix by 3. Okay, so what's 2 times 3? Well, that's 6. What's 1 times 3? Well, that's 3. 0 times 3 is 0, and 5 times 3 is 15. Now, when you look at zeros in a matrix, they're great because what happens with them is they simply generally are zeros. All right, so that's a really good thing. Now, I can do the same with adding. I can do taking as well. All right, so I can add matrices together. I can take matrices together. What would happen if I had this particular matrix here? Okay, I had 5, 2, 1, 4, 0, 7. God, it's a dodgy 7. And I was adding that to 7, 2, 3, 4. All right, and that's the equation I've been given. I'd say can't do as not compatible. All right, so you just basically say you can't do that. All right, so that's the first thing about operations with matrices. In the next video, we're going to be looking at multiplying matrices together.